Speaking of being like emotionally and physically abused, Sonic Superstars. Yeah. Who here, raise of hand, loves Sonic Mania?
Me.
I also love Sonic Mania. Yeah, Sonic Mania is great.
It's a great game.
It's a great game. It's beautiful. Who here likes Sonic Superstars? Get out.
Just kidding. This game sucks. I'm not gonna lie.
No, yeah. I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 10. But disappointing. It's so
I'm gonna give
disappointing.
it a 4.
It's not that much.
It's
better.
very generous.
That's not that much better. I think it's a 3.
No, I would give it a 4.
It's not the worst thing you could play ever.
Maybe even a 5.
No.
Depending on how I'm grading things.
If you went from Sonic Mania to that, you'd give it a lower rating. If you've never played Sonic Mania, you'd probably think it was a 5.
Yeah, that's
because you have
true.
no point of
That's
comparison.
true. So we're gonna have to talk about this.
So we're
game.
comparing the GOAT versus the GOATs behind. Like, this game got us into being serious Sonic fans. But then when this game, like, we were hyped for this game because we were finally old
It's
enough.
the first Sonic game
We were like, what,
ever
in
cared
6th
about.
grade?
Yeah.
What's 2017?
Yeah.
So yeah, in the 6th grade, it came out and it was great. And we loved it.
It was great.
And for the last, what, how long has it been? Since 2017? 8
Yeah.
years ago? Wow. 8 years of this shit being peak. Basically a year and a half ago, this game got released. Sonic Superstars.
Oh yeah. What a
And
game.
what a major flop. First of all, it released right next to Spider-Man 2 and Mario Wonder.
Also,
The same week. The exact same week.
I'll have you know that this was the next game I beat after Astrobot. So imagine playing Astrobot and then imagine playing this right after. I guess we should probably talk about why this game is such a letdown. Let's go in. We got a nice list here.
Yeah, we got a nice list of things we're going to
So-
talk about.
Let's hit the first point first. The graphics.
We're comparing this to Mania. It's basically like a versus kind of video.
You kind of have to if you're
Talk
gonna
about-
review this
yeah.
game.
You gotta
kinda
talk about
have-
Mania.
You have to review it to Mania. When you were gonna make a 2D Sonic platforming game, you should have looked at the freaking slam hit that you already made.
It wasn't made by Sonic Team. This was made by fans.
I know, but
Yeah.
it's a freaking Sega game. So like, I don't know, just
Sega
try to do
published
this.
it, yeah.
Try to do this, or get
Sega
as close-
Sega published both of them.
Get as close to that as you can, and get as far away from freaking Sonic 4.
I don't think we need to explain why this is so good.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Graphics. This one, I know you're more sympathetic towards the art style.
I just
mean,
don't care. It doesn't bother me that much.
I just feel like it just feels very underwhelming to have. It feels lazy. The 3D. I hate the 2D. Like what Sonic Generations did all right because it also had. It was a 3D game. Like you had 3D Sonic levels, classic 3D Sonic levels. I don't like 3D models in the 2D platform stuff
It's
anywhere
not as
near as
appealing.
much as that.
It's not as appealing as
Yeah.
Even like Rayman Legends looks a lot better than
Yeah.
that game because it's like got like a hand drawn art style
Yeah.
to it
Exactly.
compared to that game.
There's just this. It just feels stylish.
Actually, I do agree with you 100%.
There's like it doesn't feel like there's any style.
You've convinced me.
It just feels like they just took a bunch of 3D models that they had, and they just lazily threw this piece of shit together. Yeah, and I'm so glad I got to spend freaking 15 minutes on the credit screen looking at all these people.
You couldn't even freaking skip it.
The game I played before was Astrobot, so compare the
Credits to Astrobot to Sonic Superstars,
To
which
this.
is just like has you like running in a straight.
It's
like,
so
it's so
lame.
boring.
It's so long.
Yeah, it's boring. And it's like 8 minutes.
And it
you
said
can't
thank you
skip
for
it.
playing, and I was like, thank God it's over. And then just a bunch more credits keep
Here's the
going.
licensing agreements and stuff.
Just do this, please, for the love of God.
It's just, yeah, the levels just feel so uninspired. You said it earlier when we were playing it, just to get a refresher. The backgrounds have no motion. They're just a static image. What is it, the one called Golden Capital?
Golden
That's like,
Capital, yeah.
It has just a plain-ass blue background. I'm not even messing with you. I'm pretty sure. Pull it up later.
Yeah, I
Pull
will.
it, editing Colton, pull it up
I
later.
will.
I'm pretty sure it's just plain-ass, like, maybe like a few shapes, but like,
I will say there were a couple times when like Knuckles or someone would fly across in the background, which are kind of cool. But like
so what?
the actual stuff in the background is just so lame. Like if you play in Mania, there's so much like different colors and just stuff always going on. They're always trying to impress you with visuals.
Even in the first level of Mania, in Green Hill, you got the background that there's water flowing, there's birds, there's clouds, like
pixel art graphics. There's a style there. I feel like there's no style to this.
pixel art works really good with 2D games.
Yeah.
2D fighting, 2D old, because it gives off a retro feel.
It plays retro, but it looks modern and it feels wrong.
You know what Sonic Superstars is? I don't know if you never played this before. but it is the Mega Man 11 equivalent to Sonic. Mega Man 11 has this 3D art style, which looks fine, I guess, but it also does nothing to advance the series, just like this game does.
Yeah.
It's pretty much the exact same case. Everything in Mania just has so much more personality,
I know.
which we'll get to, but like with the graphics...
Is it really that hard to just make another sprite-based
Actually, that's
pixel
easier
art
than
game?
three. That's easier than
I would
3D
think it would
models.
be easier. Even with like the animated intros and stuff.
Oh, yeah. Let's talk about that real quick.
Yeah.
Animated intro, this is amazing. This is beautiful. It's made by Tyson Hess. He makes like a lot. He's the guy who also fixed the Sonic movie.
Oh,
anyway,
yeah.
but yeah, it's beautiful and then it's amazing and it's happy and energetic and colorful. And this one's like really low on the frame rate for some reason.
It's
and
just,
there's nothing happening in it.
yeah, they're just, I don't
Like in the Mania opening, you get the shot of the characters, you get the shot of the games that are featured in it,
know.
you get the shot of the bad guys,
Yeah.
you get the shot of the zones.
Is it the one of this one just generic fighting?
They're just in an open field.
Yeah. Nice.
Never really shows off much about the game.
Anyway, so we move on to the next topic. I think.
Oh,
we get
one more
graphics.
thing. Well, before, and this should be very quick. This is $60. This is $20. Goes on sale for like $10 all the time. Don't waste your money on this.
Buy this twice, honestly.
You could buy this twice. Buy it for a friend, and that would still feel more fulfilled. I let him borrow this for free, and I still felt guilty. No, I really did feel guilty for giving it to him.
Let's move on to really kind of the meat and potatoes of the game here. We got the gameplay. Gameplay, if I had to describe the gameplay, it would be, it just feels like a baby game until you get to boss fights. And then it just feels
And then it's bullshit.
bullshit and
Yeah, it's-
frustrating.
Because you have to wait. The number one thing you don't want to do in a Sonic game is wait for shit. Wait for an opening. Wait for them to open up a pattern. Like, it's so
Yeah,
slow.
dude. The final boss. I spent more time on the final boss than I did on the entire game, pretty much. It felt like.
I basically played it twice because the second trip story is...
Yeah.
But I couldn't do the Fang boss.
I'll have you know, I started the trip story and I was like, you know what? I don't want to play this game again. Because I started it and I was like, okay, is this going to be different?
If I had to look up a
Same
video
thing.
on the Fang boss, how to beat it. If you have to look up how to beat a boss in a classic Sonic game, that is immediate red flag. Even in the Dr. Robotnik fight for the main story,
Mhm.
there's like instant kill attacks.
Yeah.
Like, you know, when you're running from the...
When he's
you're-
crushing the platforms?
Yeah,
That's so bogus.
bullshit. Like, yeah, it's just... All the bosses are terrible. But the bosses are better when you can just blast through them. They're pace breakers. They're total pace breakers.
Yeah, they're not meant to be a freaking Geometry Dash level where
Mhm.
you're trying it over and over and over and over and over again to try to beat it. It's just supposed to break up the gameplay.
I think the reason why they're the way they are is because of the 4 characters. They didn't want them to end so quickly. Just give it more hit points then.
Yeah,
Instead of 8,
I
give
just-
it like 30.
and I hate the
Which would have been
difficulty.
fine. I would have been fine with more hits if they weren't bullshit.
Yeah, I hate that difficulty spike between the levels
Mhm.
and the boss fights because the level design isn't even great either. Like with the levels, I just hate that it feels like I'm running into a wall every 5
Mhm.
seconds. I never get any momentum.
No
Like,
speed.
in Mania, there's so many awesome moments where
Mhm.
you run off the screen. You
Yeah.
never get a moment like that in this game.
No, not at all.
It just
it's
feels
all
like
automated.
It
if
feels like
if it does happen.
Mario. It's like Mario, but he runs a little faster.
Yeah, it's such blocky platforming. When Mania is nothing but slopes, and Mania really understands what made classic Sonic so much different. You use the slopes to your advantage.
Yes.
One of my favorite things to do in classic Sonic, especially in Mania too, is you spin dash off of a slope to get higher up than you would if you were just to jump.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's like basic classic Sonic. I've never got the opportunity to do that. And also, every video I've seen on Sonic Superstars, everybody's in the same area because it's linear. There's no multiple pathways.
There's so many different ways to go in Mania.
Mania, like he was just playing it. I've been playing this game for 8 years, and he just showed me a new way in Flying Battery. I'm like, I've never seen that before.
Yeah, it's sick.
It's cool as hell. Like the
Just
gimmicks,
boring and linear.
the gimmicks in the level.
Yes, that's what I was gonna say. The gimmicks. I can't think of one gimmick from Superstars that was like interesting and cool.
I
and
know all the
wasn't
ones
just
that
like,
are bullshit.
Yeah,
Like the bug in the Act 2 of the Speed Jungle.
yeah. That's just
Stupid
Why
name
would you do
anyway.
that? It's just like we need to have some fun
Oh,
idea.
can't see what I'm doing in a platformer, especially one that's really fast.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Awesome idea, guys.
In Mania, there's like every level has a new gimmick, and the gimmick works with it flows with the gameplay. It's not just this random thing they threw.
So
in
like,
there.
let's say you get hit from a spring on like in Mirage Saloon, you get hit from a spring to another spring, and then you landed on those guns, and then did the spin animation. And and you
sick.
fling it out. That's a smooth gimmick. It changes up the gameplay. I'm trying to think of a gimmick. The only gimmick I don't like in Sonic Mania, and it's just in one level, is Oil Ocean Act 2, which is a reference to Sandopolis Act 2 anyway.
Yeah.
Where you have to so the stage doesn't catch on fire.
Oh,
keep pulling the switches. But even then, that's not that bad.
Oh, and they did decide to bring that gimmick back in
Superstars. With the button.
Yeah.
Wait, but it's even more bullshit.
With the button, yeah.
It's not even cool.
I know.
It's just lame.
I can't remember the names of any stage either.
I can tell you every single stage in here. Not just because they're reused levels, but
even
all
the
new
originals.
Ones. Yeah.
Studiopolis,
Press Garden, Mirage Saloon, and Titanic Monarch. The final level.
And we were saying earlier, we'd rather play those 4
levels,
over than that whole game.
Mm-hmm. This is the only complaint I have for the game. The only complaint is that the levels are reused. But it's such a small nitpick because they change Act 2.
I'm trying to think of the most memorable stage from Superstars to me. I think one that comes to mind is the jungle one, but it's just a generic jungle
level. Yeah.
And then there's the Golden Capital, which was, I hadn't seen that before.
It was taking elements from Sonic 1 that weren't used, and
oh really?
Which is kind of cool, I guess.
Yeah, I mean that was cool.
Still a bland level.
The music was kind of cool because it basically just stole from Sky Sanctuary.
Yeah. People are saying online that Sonic Superstars is better because it's all original levels. Yeah, but if they're generic and boring, then what does it matter?
Yeah.
Even if these are reused zones.
I can't remember the name of a single freaking level. Generic casino level. Generic jungle level. Generic, basically might as well be Green Hill at the beginning.
Levels. Golden Capital is a freaking casino level too.
Yeah. What's it? Bridge
Island?
Bridge Island?
Which is Green Hill anyway.
That's the lamest freaking idea ever.
Press Garden, Titanic Monarch, that's
sick. Mirage
Saloon. A saloon, the gimmicks. Oh, you know that one gimmick in Mirage Saloon where you can get on a bar stool and you spin around?
That's funny. I like that.
That's so that little bit right there has more charm than its pinky toe. This game has more charm in its pinky toe than this game has overall.
There was some stage in Superstar, I don't know the name because they're all boring, where you're in the sky and you're floating on this wind. What's that stage?
Oh, I don't know. I know what you're talking about, but the name is.
Was that stage just a straight line?
The game doesn't have any gimmicks, and when they do have gimmicks,
here's a fun gimmick: you float really slowly in the air until you get to a platform.
What's the one where you have to shoot shit? You're shooting shit for no reason. You're in the little pod, Eggman pod, and you're shooting.
Oh yeah.
We're trying to remember the game because it's so forgettable.
I just played it too. I just played the game.
We just played it
I beat the game.
Today. We just fucking played it.
Yeah, we just got done playing it.
And you already forgot.
And I already forgot basically everything in the game. But yeah, when you're in the little ship and you're shooting, you have to shoot into the mouth of the bigger ship or whatever.
Yeah, but that's not a Sonic game.
It broke up the gameplay that I
already didn't like. It's something that was whatever. So that's really what this game is just whatever. Yeah. It's a giant. These games are all about the levels. Yeah. The levels it's make or break with these levels. Without the levels being as good as they are, Mania wouldn't be so good.
Yeah, exactly. No one would.
If the levels were bland and boring, then you would get this game.
Exactly.
You know what I'm talking about?
God. All right, we should probably move on. So far, it's failed in the graphic department, for me at least. It's failed in the gameplay department. Let's move on to story. Let's see if they can redeem themselves here.
Spoiler alert. Not really. Although the competition is not as stiff in the story department for Mania. Yeah. Mania's story is just Eggman has the Phantom Ruby. The Phantom Ruby is what does it even do? They didn't explain it for us.
It makes you fly in the opening.
It creates clones of things. It's a plot MacGuffin. It does whatever the plot needs it to do.
Exactly.
It takes you to old levels. That's what it does in Mania.
Yeah.
Whatever.
At least you understand the story in Mania.
The story is stop Eggman. There's new bad guys, which is really all you need.
And,
hard-boiled heavies.
Cool bad guys too.
Really cool bad guys. The hard-boiled heavies are all awesome. Yeah. All of them are cool. But that's really the story.
I'm gonna ask a genuine question. What the hell happened in Sonic Superstars? I don't even know.
I know. I had to have someone tell me. I beat the game twice and I don't even know.
What it is?
So basically, what it is okay. So they had this like opening like cutscene thing on
Yeah.
YouTube, which I don't even know why they don't put in the games. You know those like animations
Yeah.
for like Sonic Mania Adventures and stuff. But,
Mhm.
like, that's complimentary. You needed to watch the this animation for free on YouTube to understand the plot. Eggman goes into this ruin and he says, "There's this dragon thing that he can harness the power of on this island," and he hires Fang to help him, I guess.
Okay.
And also, just real quick side tangent: why is Fang not a playable character?
yeah. Also, he just beat
He
him.
just is there for the sake of nothing.
You beat him in a boss fight, and
He's
there to be one boss
and then he
fight.
fucks off, like, and then he leaves.
I'm so glad he was so heavily involved in like
The marketing, yeah.
marketing for the game, and then it's just one
I really
boss
thought that he was going to be an unlockable character.
Yeah, he's my dude.
He's
for
his
this channel.
fucking dude.
He's in our freaking channel art, dude. Give my man some respect. Okay?
He's never been in a platform game. He's actually in both games. It's actually kind of
You know what? I'm glad he's not playable in this game because that would be a tarnish on his reputation.
God, imagine if like Mania got more characters. You got to play as like Bean, Fang, and Bark.
Yeah, dude.
And, like, that just completely knock Superstars.
Can
with
we
a
just
bat.
get another DLC for Mania instead of this garbage?
Superstars? It's just so confusing to talk about because it just does it in such a stupid way. You know,
Yeah.
like 3 and Knuckles in Mania tell it in a simple way without any dialogue. It's simple. You get what's going on.
Also, why does whatever? I always forget her name.
Trip.
Trip. Why does Trip?
She's a lizard, but they call her.
She's a lizard.
Yeah, they call her Trip the Sun Gazer lizard.
Okay, well,
She's called a sun. She is a sun gazer lizard.
why does she wear the metal thing on her
She's
head?
shy.
Is that what it is?
Yes,
Is that really the
she's
whole thing?
shy.
That's so stupid.
You haven't got all the Chaos Emeralds. She does turn into a dragon that glitches out the game.
Oh, okay,
It-
nice.
yeah, you can breathe fire and it's pretty pointless. Like it's like you can't even play the game when you have super trip. So Eggman harnesses the power of this dragon and he needs all the Chaos Emeralds to do it. But you wouldn't know that if you just play the game. When you just play the game, there's like they don't tell you that. All you know is that Trip's getting bullied by Fang and Eggman.
That
And
reminds
she's
me.
working with the bad guys. And then Amy shows Trip to be cool. You know,
Girl
like when you like
power.
carry her on, which was an awful level, by the way, with the fruit and shit, and like you have to carry her and like.
Oh yeah.
you have to
about
keep
that
her
level, too.
re-remembering the game. Basically, the plot is that like the Trip learns to stick up for herself,
Well, I
And
didn't
then-
get that takeaway.
and then like you don't even know what's really happening. Like obviously you're just trying to stop Eggman. Like that makes
Yeah.
sense, but like what like the small details you don't understand, like why.
yeah, I don't even know why.
And then
he
you
was
get to the
trying
final
do.
boss, and there's this big fucking dragon that comes out of nowhere. Like, and then, whoa, when did this dragon, like, it's this, like, gritty looking dragon. And, like, you know, like, where did this come from? And you would never know because the game doesn't convey it to you. Mania isn't really doing anything for story, but that doesn't matter because it's not
simple.
trying.
No,
but it's also simple and
It's doing a
yeah.
little bit, and everything it does, you understand it because it shows it to you.
Mhm.
Okay, Eggman has this seemingly powerful.
Ruby thing. Go
Ruby?
stop.
I've got to stop him from using it.
But at least it's simple and
least
you
I know what's
understand
going
what's
on.
going on. There isn't a goddamn fucking dragon that comes out of nowhere.
The in-game little
If you
cutscenes
had-
to transition between levels are so lame too.
Oh, yeah,
they're
totally.
so robotic.
Mania's transitions are awesome. They're all,
Yeah,
they're all
Or
at least
isn't
entertaining.
The end of Mirage Saloon, doesn't it shoot you into the
Yeah,
next
it shoots you into the next
in
one.
the next act or
Oh
stage or
god,
whatever?
Mirage Saloon is the best classic Sonic stage. The
I love
train,
that.
there's no train in this game.
Yeah, this game
Mhm.
has a snake that you can run on.
Oh,
Wow, it's cool because it goes up and down.
It really
Anyway.
is a baby game, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what I mean. And the art style's not doing it any favors. It just
It makes me want to like suck on my thumb and
I know.
oh boy, a snake.
Until you get to the boss fight and then you quit and never play it again. Let's move on to the personality. Actually, maybe we could just move on from that because there isn't much to talk about.
Yeah, well, there isn't really much to talk about. You're not understanding that this game is.
Oh, yeah,
is,
you can be
is for
Legos.
grown adults, not babies. Babies want to play Legos, and you get to be Lego Sonic.
You know what I feel bad? I feel bad if there was any developer. I'm sure there were some developers who really
I'm
cared
sure
for
they're
this game.
just fine.
No, I'm
They're
sure
good
there
people.
were developers here who really cared about this game. But it's a damn shame that everyone else didn't. Because this game sucks. Okay, I'm sorry. Tell me that this is a passion project.
It's a passion project. But I would be lying to you. But I would be lying if I said
You
that.
would be lying. It failed on
Oh,
the graphics. It
fuck.
failed on the gameplay.
Oh,
it failed
God.
on the story. Personality didn't quite hit there either. But there's still one last category where maybe it can take the cake and bring it home. Music.
you play the first 2 levels of Sonic Superstars, and you're like, oh, this is pretty good.
Yeah.
Actually, let me say this real quick. Sonic, I almost called it Sonic Superstars. Sonic Mania is made by this guy named T-Lopes. He was also a Sonic fan. He made remixes of classic Sonic songs or just music from video games.
Yeah, I'm sure
for
I've heard
free.
of him.
Yeah, he does awesome work. He still does work on YouTube.
Yeah, I've listened to them recently.
And they hired him because he's also a fan. There's not a single Sega executive other than like them overseeing it. All of this is made by fans.
Yeah.
And especially the music. The guy's name is T-Lopes. He does a great job.
Yeah.
There's not a single bad piece of music in this game. Prove me wrong.
I can't
prove me wrong. One bad piece of music.
I can't think of one.
And they're bangers. They're all bangers.
But guess what my favorite song is from this?
No, not the boss music. For sitting in the bosses for 20 minutes, you sure do listen to the 10-second loop over and over again.
Yeah.
There's this guy named Jun Sunui who he does music. He does like the rock music, like like Live and Learn, Open Your Heart, and stuff like that. He does rock music for Sonic, and he's really good at that.
Yeah.
Like that's what he does.
They made him do this,
and he made the soundtrack for Sonic 4. So what he doesn't understand is that the Genesis sound font that he uses, to make it sound retro gamey, is ass.
It is.
It's so ass. Stop using it. Someone needs to tell him it sounds like ass. How do you fail the music in a
And I get that
Sonic
T-Lopes had some songs in there that were good, but it was just all brought down.
But he only had like 3 or 4.
And it was brought down by the other bad songs. So it's like
it's at best a mediocre soundtrack, at worst a ear sore.
Yeah,
it's an eyesore and an ear sore. It's a sore to all your senses. We're making it worse than it actually is, but it's still pretty.
It's offensively meh, is how I would put it.
The music is just so repetitive.
Yeah, dude, the boss.
Why is the loop so short?
I'm not gonna lie. When I first heard that little loop, like when I first loaded in the boss fight, I was like, and the angle changed in the camera. I was like, ooh, this is actually kind of sick. I'm about to get into a boss fight right now. And then it played the loop again. And I was like, all right. And then it played the loop again. All right. And then it played the loop again and again and again. And then I died.
I couldn't tell you why they still use like less instruments because like instruments that a Genesis could handle, but like it just sounds better. Like Stardust Speedway. Yeah. Like for example, you get like the music that like it's like jazz almost. Mm-hmm. Like it sounds jazzy.
Yeah, it's so cool.
Like it has flow and like I don't know music theory, but it just sounds good. Like you showed it to some
good.
And
bad.
And you show it to somebody who's never played a Sonic game. You're like, that objectively sounds good.
You know what? Yeah. This video, I don't know what I'm gonna do for background music.
Well, you're gonna play Sonic Mania music. That's what you're gonna do.
I'm gonna have to listen through the Superstar soundtrack, and I'll see if I can find some that it works. But I can assure you that not all this background music will be Sonic Superstars, and there will be quite a few Mania tracks.
Imagine it gets less views because when you can like look up the analytics and it's gonna start the lowest, like people tune off when the music starts.
Here's the challenge. I'm going to try. I'm going to listen through the whole OST, and if you hear a Superstars track in this video, that'll mean that was a pretty good track.
That's such an easy. Okay, whatever. That's such an easy win. If you listen to all the music, I may never see you again. You may
I might die.
You may hang yourself.
Just play Mania.
It's so much cheaper. You could go to like Walmart and find it for $10.
Yeah.
I bought Sonic Superstars for $60 day one, and a new PS5 controller, which is not cheap, $75. Well, now it's $85, but $75 for a PS5 controller. Grand total that shit, that's like $150, probably more, $160 something. And I wasted so much money. Wow. Oh yeah, one more thing.
You could have bought Mania
we forgot. Multiplayer. Oh, this game is not trying to do multiplayer that much, but for competition mode,
we played it and had fun.
It's still good. It functions.
Yeah, it works.
It's nothing like crazy, but it functions.
Yeah.
And it works.
Yeah,
it works. This does not work. This was never advertised as a 4-player game.
Yeah, no one buys it.
The marketing was just, hey, here's a new classic Sonic game.
Yeah.
This was advertised as a multiplayer game. The first trailer says, bring your friends. The whole title is centered around having 4 characters.
Yeah.
And the multiplayer doesn't work. You're constantly getting off screen. And it's just not fun.
We played about 2 levels of that in
Mhm.
multiplayer, and then
And
we're
if
like,
half the time you're just sitting out trying to mash the X button to get back on
Yeah.
screen. You're
and then,
fighting for screen time.
Yeah, and then we quit and we just played Mania.
Yeah, we just genuinely could not do it. Sonic Superstars, man. I'm so sorry I let you play it.
Any other bad games you guys want us to endure? Yeah,
I think I would actually rather play Sonic 06. I'm dead serious.
Damn.
One, the music's amazing. There's some passion behind it. It's just
Yeah.
super rushed.
Well, we should probably wrap this up
Because I'm tired of talking about Sonic Superstars.